So, Skip, a big issue this day is safety of children and youth, right? So what is a church safety policy and why is it important to have one?
Well, let me just back into it from why it's important to have one. Anybody who's paying it any attention whatsoever knows that problems with safe church behaviors, difficulties with boundary crossing and violation by adults and young adults working with children are not some other tradition's problem or some other church's problem. They're every single church's challenge. They must be an exceptionally high priority for every single church and tradition. And if a church gets sloppy or negligent or inattentive, this is going to blow up in their church. It's going to be toxic to their youth group. It's going to do horrible damage that's very difficult to undo, and it'll take years to recover. So the importance of doing safe church programming and supervision well is critical. What does it mean? Everybody knows that it means clearly identified boundaries and limitations and guidance for behavior so that every child is raised in a church where they are safe and protected from inappropriate communication, relationship, touching, etc. But a safe church policy is much more than simply a set of codes that are communicated to the people who work with children. They are also a structure out of which necessary, important, and regular training takes place. And they're also a structure out of which opportunities for supervision, training, and accountability take place. So what does this look like? I think anybody watching this interview can go online and see some exceptional safe church programs and policies. And they can find one on our website, which included the best practices that we could put together for such a policy. But they should include at least adequate definitions of what's a child, what's an adult, what's a church activity. They should include at least an accountability structure of the responsibilities of governing boards or a senior minister. Most of the good ones I've seen have created a supervisory board where adult leaders of the church are given accountability and responsibility for managing the Safe Church program. There's an old saying, when no one is principally responsible, that's clearly identified, then it's not going to get done. Or if you don't identify it, everybody's responsible, it means nobody's responsible. So what this means in this context is, along with the senior minister, most policies will identify clearly identified supervisory board. That board has clear responsibilities to be trained themselves, to manage and structure training programs, and then to create an accountability structure so that any incidents, suspected incidents, possible incidents are immediately reported and responded to and investigated. So this is the basic look of a policy, this is the basic motivation of a policy, and this is the basic structure of a policy. Of course, the really important part is how you then apply the policy and follow it, but I suppose that's another question.